Stardew Valley is almost 8 years old. Over that time, there are now over 13,000 mods for the game that add unique content and replayability. While I have a lot of videos that talk about mods, I've never actually done a modded playthrough, so I decided to change that. In these 100 days, I'll be starting with around 35 mods, and I'll also add new mods every week to keep things fresh. This is going to serve as a sort of summary for the Expanded series, covering episodes 1 through 15. Just to be clear, this isn't any kind of challenge run, this is just for fun. Getting started, while I clear off the starting area of my farm, on the left side of the screen you can see the full list of mods. Some of the major ones are Stardew Valley Expanded, the major expansion I chose for this playthrough, Daisy Nico's Earthy Recolor, recoloring the whole game, and Blackberry Fields Farm, a larger version of the forest farm. I'll mention other mods as they come up. You can also find a full list of them in the description. Some won't come into play until much later. As is normal for the start of a playthrough, we spend this first day exploring the areas changed by Stardew Valley Expanded and meeting the new characters. The entire map has small adjustments thanks to Stardew Valley Expanded. South of the bus stop, there's now a mysterious shed. Connecting Cindersap Forest and the beach, there's the Blue Moon Vineyard, home to Sophia, a cosplaying vigneron. In Cindersap Forest, there's now the Fairhaven Farm, home to the grouchy farmer Andy, and in town we can find a new building east of the general store where the wealthy Olivia and her son Victor live. On spring 2nd, it's actually Morris's birthday. Not only is Morris a giftable NPC now, but there's also 2 new clerks, Claire and Martin, that you can give gifts to as well. Now that I've had time to gather some resources, I start setting up chests for inventory management. And just like vanilla, I head down to the beach to obtain our fishing rod. After continuing to meet everyone, I head up to the lake for our first fishing session. There's a couple of mods for enhancing the fishing experience. First, Visible Fish, one of my favorite mods of all time, shows whatever fish you're able to catch in that area swimming around. Second, I have Dynamic Reflections, which shows your reflection when you're near the water, but also has the water reflect the night sky as it gets darker. Spring 3rd is a guaranteed rainy day, meaning we don't have to water our crops. With all the extra energy from not watering them, I clear out our farm a little more. Since Pierre is closed today, I buy some of the crops we'll need for the community center from Joja. Yes, this will be a community center run. I also check out the mystery bin, which features out-of-season items sold at a discounted price. I buy a bunch of rice shoots. I don't have to tend to them, so it's basically free money. I got some geodes while I was clearing out the farm, so I break them open and donate our first items to the museum. While the process of donating to the museum is the same, some of the rewards we'll unlock are different. After planting all of our newly acquired crops, I head to the left side of Cindersap Forest, which has yet another new area to explore. There's a huge forest map covered in fog, forageables, and a rundown farmhouse. There's also a new lake here that has new fish to catch, but I don't find it in this excursion. It's a bit hard to find anything in this weather. Day 4 is when we wrap up meeting all of the townspeople, meeting stragglers like Harvey. Checking out the store in the hospital, there's 2 new items, the sports drink giving a large max energy buff, and the stamina capsule with an even larger max energy buff alongside a speed buff. While walking around, we see a bunch of puddles on the ground, yet another feature of dynamic reflections. We'll see these on the days after rain. While out shopping, I buy a few new crops that are part of the Farmer to Florist mod. While I utilize this mod a bit early on, it's very unstable, so I do end up removing it later on. If you see me planting any flowers that you don't recognize, it's probably from this mod. I spend the rest of the day fishing in the river and further clearing off my farm. Spring 5th, we get our cat. Being boring, I name her after my real-life cat, Machi. A lot is unlocked today. We can enter the community center, although we can't understand the language of the bundle, so we'll come back later. And we also unlock the mines. Instead of selling off the 15 parsnips we start with, I choose to use them as a food source. On the way up to the new Adventurers Guild map, you may see trees and grass swaying in the breeze. This is thanks to the Wind Effects mod. Upon entering the mines, just as always, we're given the Rusty Sword. I haven't changed too much about the mines, although you might notice that you can see the experience drops I get from breaking rocks. This is thanks to the UI Info Suite mod. It tells me a bunch of other info about the day as well, such as my luck, if the traveling cart is in town, or if it'll rain the next day. I did also randomize the mines chests, which is a vanilla feature. So on the chest of floor 10, I get the Femur Club instead of leather boots. On floor 17, we find our first special slime, noted by the star on its head, and we get sneakers from it. And since these are the first boots I found, they're also the best. Unfortunately, I end up passing out on floor 19 just before the next checkpoint. To soften the blow though, I did reach level 1 in farming, mining, and combat. Starting day 6, we get the letter from the wizard telling us to visit, as well as a mission from Marlin as an initiation to the Adventurers Guild. So we visit the wizard and learn the language of the forest, allowing us to tackle the community center bundles. You might notice that the wizard's beard is green. This is a part of the seasonal outfits mod. Every single season, everyone will dress differently, which means Haley won't be walking around in winter with a tank top and a skirt. Funny enough, this is one of the features that's being added to vanilla in the upcoming version 1.6. While I'm down here, I explore the deep forest for more forageables to use for my first gifting run through the town. I also find a forest sword just lying there, which is by far the best weapon we have now. While checking the Help Wanted board, you may see that we have multiple requests. This is from the Help Wanted mod. Since we have a lot more characters to get friendship with, this will help lessen the stress, as well as give us some direction in the early game. We check out the bundles, and now's a good time to mention that I also remixed the bundles. So in addition to a lot of the normal bundles having different requirements, we now have completely new bundles like the Wild Medicine and Sticky bundle. Upon trying to complete the Spring Foraging bundle, I can't seem to donate the Dandelion. Well, that's because it wants a spring onion instead. I don't have time to get any, so I head to the ocean and do some fishing instead. We managed to reach level 3. Sunday is busy. We get our first recipe from the Queen of the Sauce and pluck our violet that's ready, part of the aforementioned Farmer to Florist mod. Since many of the new crops added are flowers, I use most of them for gifting. Flowers tend to be a universal like with all the characters. I head down to Cindersap Forest to grab a spunion. I'm having inventory space trouble, so I sell a lot of the fish I caught yesterday and finally buy the first inventory upgrade. Heading up to the community center, we can finish our first bundle, unlocking the pantry and the fish tank bundles. Checking them, there's a couple of remixed stinkers, such as the Fish Farmer and Rare Crops bundles. I don't really have anything great for Lewis's birthday, so I give him a neutral daffodil. And to finish off the week, I head back into the mines. I managed to reach floor 20 and get the Steel Smallsword. That's not very remixed of you. Since I've slayed 10 slimes by now, I can also enter the Adventurers Guild, where we have a new giftable character, Marlin. That's right, they made him important. I head back into the mines hoping for floor 30, but the very first floor was infested, so I peace out. With the remaining time, I smelt our first copper bars. With the new week, we have a new mod. I decided to take the plunge with Automate. For the most part, I wanted to avoid using mods that are generally considered overpowered, but Automate just seems too fun to pass up, and I have many plans for it. We start off the week by donating a few odd items we've gotten, and head to Gunther because I found an ancient seed last night in the mines. An early ancient fruit seed is always great, especially since we'll need it for the Rare Crops bundle. I do a bit of fishing and give a gift to Carolyn. One of my early game goals is to unlock tea saplings, so we'll need 2 hearts with her. Tuesday is purely a mines day. We head in, zoom all the way to floor 35, and then head out due to low energy. Also, it's very dark, but here you can see we have our first deluxe node from Lumysteria's Clumps and Nodes. This mod adds enhanced ore nodes that are rare and boulders for different resources. And to finish off the day, I do another quick gift run. The big 1-0, today's a bit of a cleanup day. We have a couple of items lying around to donate to bundles, and we're going to try and make enough money to finally upgrade a tool. It also happens to be Vincent's birthday. Once again, I just give him a daffodil since it's liked. One step closer to spring onion mastery. While checking on Andy, he just straight up gives us some free strawberry seeds, the best seed for spring. I don't care what they say about you, Andy. You're all right. I donate 2 more items to the museum, bringing our total to 10 and earning us melon seeds. While exploring around the town, I find a new area east of the library. All that's here is a bridge that leads to an area for a separate mod that I chose not to install. It's just a big open field. There is, however, a river here that contains a bunch of new fish, and they're really hard, like octopus hard. I do manage to catch some minnows though. The next day, we finally have enough money for our first tool upgrade. Before that though, we spend some time on the farm, planting strawberries, and setting up our first tappers. I have many plans for bee houses in the future, so I go for maple syrup. From all of our fishing trips, we're able to donate another 4 fish. No bundles complete yet though. I decided to upgrade the axe first as I need a ton of wood, and I'd like to reach floor 40 before upgrading the pickaxe. Speaking of, I do go to the mines and quickly hit floor 40, getting the slingshot. This chest is one of the few that isn't actually randomized. It's pretty slow going in the ice caves without an upgraded pickaxe, so I get some iron and leave. As tomorrow is the egg festival, we've got to make some money so we can buy a heap of strawberry seeds. A bunch of kale I planted specifically for leveling up farming, since it has the best XP per day, is ready, so I harvest that, reaching farming level 2. Heading to the mountains, I actually get a cutscene mentioning how a landslide blocked the railroad, and apparently someone's stuck behind it. Huh. To earn some money, I turn in a bunch of the odd jobs I've taken and sell the kale. Even though I'm saving money, I still want to check the traveling merchant. You never know what you're gonna get. And oh, Expanded headed a portrait for her. Since I have no axe, I chose to grind out copper in the mines for crafting materials. It's Egg Festival Day. I ended up earning enough money for 27 strawberry seeds. I also won the egg hunt, although some of the eggs were moved around slightly thanks to Stardew Valley Expanded. And Sophia participates. Even though she's not as much of a threat as Abigail, it's nice that the new characters get to join in the fun as well. Day 14 is when I first try to set up something automated. The way it works is any machines will push to a chest connected to them, and then that chest can push any items back to other machines, and you can connect them with wood flooring or something. So I set up a couple of crab pots and I put a chest filled with bait next to them. Now they'll automatically harvest and refill every day. I went to the forest to collect forageables to give as gifts, but when checking Fairhaven Farm, Andy wasn't home, and I got a good look at his bacterially challenged house. It is Haley's birthday, so I give her a liked daffodil. And then I finished my gifting run. Week 3 only had a few small changes. I added the Love of Cooking and the Love of Cooking retexture mod, which will add a cooking skill that won't come into play for a little bit. I also added in the Pad and Pin retexture, which simply changes the way the Help Wanted board looks. It's salmonberry season. They make for a great early game food, so I do my best to pick as much as I can. Unfortunately, I didn't hit level 4 foraging beforehand. I do take this opportunity while walking through the woods to blitz my way to it, so we'll get double harvests moving forward. Today is Olivia's birthday, which is especially important because I've decided that she's the character I want to romance. The base game doesn't give you any older women options, so I'm pouncing on this opportunity. In addition to continuing our berry hunt, day 16 sees the completion of the Spring Crops bundle. With my upgraded axe, I'm also able to get enough wood to repair the bridge on the beach. To commemorate, I spend most of the day fishing with my now level 5 fishing skill. I chose the crab pot profession, by the way. Judge me if you want, it's the right way to play. Day 17, you guessed it, more berries. The main goal for the day was to make enough gold to upgrade our pickaxe. I fished for a bit, and it didn't take long. I only needed about 200 gold. What I forgot, however, is that breaking open geodes costs money. So while I donated a ton of items to the museum, it took a second fishing trip to upgrade my pickaxe. I spent the rest of the day doing a little bit of gift giving and breaking stumps for hardwood, now that we have an upgraded axe. The 18th is Pam's birthday. She's always easy, just a beer. Unfortunately, we went broke upgrading the pickaxe, so we need to fish a bit to buy the beer. While at the beach, I found the last thing I need for the crab pot bundle, and with 3 bundles completed, we've unlocked the bulletin board bundles. Let's see what the damage is. Well, we don't need a red cabbage. We also ended up with the Homes Cook bundle, which is relatively easy compared to a lot of the other possibilities. Although I'm gonna have to spend a lot of money for that 100 wheat. When talking to everyone for the day, I overhear Olivia getting on her son's case for not finding a job. Just a little Akko Taco. As we wake up on day 19, we've earned the achievement for making 15,000 gold. Just in case you were wondering where we were in terms of money. We go and grab the copper pickaxe, and even though it's a bad luck day, I spend a little time in the mines. Not getting too deep, just for some iron. Green bean for the lady. Big day! From giving gifts out yesterday, we unlocked the sashimi recipe. With an automated crab pot farm and a cooking skill, this is going to be a very important recipe. It's also Shane's birthday. We're an enabler. And from talking to her at the bar, we now have enough friendship with Sophia to see her first scene. She gets scared just from us walking up the vineyard. She also gifts us with a quality sprinkler, which is crazy good for this early on. We also managed to hit 2 hearts with Carolyn, finally giving us access to the tea sapling recipe. Probably the best early moneymaker in the game. We've got a lot of empty farming space now that we have some sprinklers, so I fill it all in with potatoes. Finishing off the night, I thought with a higher fishing level, I might be able to catch some of the fish over on the east side of town, but I still had a ton of trouble with them. But I did catch 1 butterfish, which happens to be a liked item for Olivia. the perfect fish pond candidate. Big day for level ups, we got level 3 farming netting us the bee house recipe, and with level 5 foraging I chose the gatherer profession, giving us a chance to pick 2 forageables at once. Today's looking like a money day. We have our first big harvest of strawberries, and with the tea sapling recipe it ought to be good. Right off the rip, I'm able to craft 43 tea saplings, which will net us 21,500 gold, more than doubling everything we've made so far. Nerf tea saplings. Going down to check the cart, there's a quality sprinkler for sale. I'm rolling in it, so I grab it. Now that the luck isn't as bad, I'm going to take another trip to the mines, reaching floor 55. On my way back, I'm able to complete the Adventurer's Bundle, finally unlocking the vault for us. If you're wondering why I didn't go over the remixed Boiler Room bundles, it's because pretty much nothing changed. To start our 4th week, we have 28,000 gold ready to spend. And since we made so much money, Demetrius is going to offer to set up the farm cave. This is where another mod comes in, the Wildcat Farm Cave. Instead of mushrooms and fruit, they'll bring fiber and fish and cloth and a couple of other trash-like items. As for new mods, I've finally added a building mod. L's Seasonal Buildings is super customizable and allows you to change the color and design of pretty much everything on your farm. I've also added Ellie's Seasonal Paths mod, yes that's Ellie, not L, 2 different people, which simply changes the way that paths look. Finally, I added the Tree Transplant mod, which allows us to move trees at Robins. This will make it easier to do a couple of things like set up a tree tap area. With all of that money, we can spend 5,000 gold to upgrade our pickaxe to steel. With our pickaxe gone, we're going to use the axe to cut down a ton of trees on the farm and use all of that wood to build a coop. And even though I don't particularly feel like I need it at this point, I go ahead and spend a lot of the rest of the money to get the backpack upgrade. We now have a full 3 rows. I used up pretty much all of my wood supply, so I'm going to spend the rest of the day cutting yet more trees. Spring 23rd is Andy's birthday, and I don't know much about him other than he likes most forageables, so I hit him with the gold horseradish. And with all that extra friendship, we get to see his first cutscene in town. Seems like Fairhaven Farm isn't doing too well, and tax increases are gonna hurt even more. He's also the kind of guy to not want any handouts or help. We see Leah farming in the small communal garden south of the library. It's nice to see vanilla characters doing activities outside of their one hobby. Now that we have the tea sapling recipe, the main thing holding us back is going to be getting enough fiber. So I head to the insect level of the mines and grind for it. I don't need the pickaxe because I can just farm for it on whatever floor I go down to in the elevator. While I was there, I completed the first of our Slayer goals for killing insects. And of course, I get yet another ancient seed, our 3rd so far. That grind earned us another 15,000 gold, but don't worry, tea saplings are completely balanced. Already we've earned the achievement for 50,000 gold. Well, today is the flower dance, so we don't have a lot of time to get stuff done. I elect to spend a small amount of time cutting trees on the farm. At the dance, I buy out the daffodils and dandelions for tea saplings, of course, and I did manage to get 4 hearts with Shane, so he'll be our dance partner, earning us yet another heart. On the 25th, we have our second large harvest of strawberries, and we collected enough sap so that we can unlock the sticky bundle. We go and grab our now steel pickaxe and head to the mines just for a little progress. On floor 60, I get the wooden mallet, which is alright I suppose, it's the first weapon to surpass the forest sword. And on floor 64, I spot our second special slime and it drops the lead club for us. While it's technically stronger than the wooden mallet, I don't enjoy the -4 speed. We head out after hitting floor 65. I'll take my severed bug head now, thank you. Before heading to bed, I see one of my favorite scenes in the game, having a cold one with Shane on the pier. It's not always raining in this scene, by the way. I just got extra lucky with the moody atmosphere. It's a great setup for one of my favorite thumbnails I've made. We hit level 5 mining that day, and I went with miner. Lewis catches us as we walk out of the door the next morning, just thanking us for our hard work and updating us on the other farmers. It's Friday, which means another trip to the traveling cart. I've got plenty of money now, so I'll go ahead and grab a rare seed. And for Pierre's birthday, I grabbed the most delectable strawberry I have. He didn't like it. Our coop finished being built today. No rest for the wicked though. I get Robin cracking on the next job, my first house upgrade. I'll finally get to check out our new cooking skill. And to finally use up the rest of our money, I get Clint working on the steel axe. That'll let us get into the secret woods once it's done. I did add that seasonal flooring mod, so it's time to finally start setting up the farm layout. I'm generally pretty awful at decorating my farm, but I'm using a popular path layout of stone on the outside and wood on the inside. Not quite finished, but we'll have plenty of time to complete it later. I finished off the day reaching floor 70 of the mines, obtaining the Master Slingshot. Once again, this chest is not randomized. Since I had a really mines heavy week, I decided to settle down for the weekend and hand out some gifts. While I do so, I catch Haley and Emily arguing about their chores, and then I invade a dream. For some reason. They really never explain why we see this. It's like the only cutscene we aren't physically present for. It is Emily's birthday, by the way. She's easy. Any gem will do. I then clean up the farm a little bit and put a little more work into the farm pathing. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the final day of spring. This seems like a good time to mention that no, I didn't catch the legend. This is going to be a multi-year playthrough, so there was no need to rush the fishing skill like I usually would. Since the coop has been finished for a few days now, I go to fill it up with some chickens and... oh no. He'll be fine. Give me them chickens. Did I mention that all of the animals are going to be named after phones? Because they will be. The axe is complete, which means we now can enter a couple of new areas. First, this weird abandoned shed had logs in front of it, and there's nothing here. Guess we'll find out about this later. I can also reach the secret woods, which is huge now, with tons of hardwood and dig spots to keep us busy. I also found the entrance into the deep woods, which is another mod I've added. It adds an endless, random forest-themed dungeon. Unfortunately, we don't have much time to explore it today, so that'll be for another time. It's finally summer, but more importantly, it's a new week with new mods. First, I've added Arrow Core, which will show us the bee particles flying around bee houses. We can also see better bee houses at work here, which allows them to make honey from forgeable flowers like dandelions or sweet peas. The other added mod is relatively minor. It fixes waterfalls being incompatible with the earthy recolor. There really is a mod for everything. While going into town to buy summer seeds, we can peep everyone's new outfits from the Seasonal Outfits mod. Gus has a floral pattern button-up, and Pierre's more cash with the t-shirt. While leaving, we actually have a very nice conversation with Demetrius about the history of the town. I plant a good mix of a bunch of summer crops, mostly blueberries for money, and then whatever crops we need for bundles, including a lot of wheat. While on the farm, Robin says she's checking out that shed we cleared out the entrance to. Later, she'll give us a quest to refurbish it. Our house also finished its first upgrade today, so we can check out the cooking menu. There's a bunch of filters for finding the recipe you're looking for, and every time we cook something, we'll get cooking experience. We do have a frying pan tool that we need to upgrade though, and until we do, we can only cook food with one ingredient. All of that made for a really busy day, so I chill out with a little fishing to end it off. To improve the automated crab pot setup, I add some recycling machines to it, which will auto-grab any trash fished up by the pots. And I cook our first batches of sashimi, making us a ton of money and earning our first level in cooking. Robin tells us the materials she'll need to fix up the shed, and it's a lot. The 50 iron bars are gonna take us a while. Easily enough, I was able to clean up the summer forageable bundle, and we head off to the mines to reach floor 80. We get the claymore from the randomized box, which is really strong, but it has a -4 speed. My goal was to stay until I got the rest of the resources I need to complete all of the boiler room bundles, and I find the fire quartz on floor 83. It's already late, so I'm going to finish the rest of my day by passing out in the mines, and I find our third special slime on floor 84. It drops genie boots, and while that has the same defense buff as our current sneakers, it also has a massive +6 immunity. I just barely reach floor 85 before passing out. Overnight, we hear the boulder blocking the spa get blown out, and I get a couple of new recipes for reaching level 1 cooking. Leaving our house the next day, we meet Susan. She's a farmer that was trapped behind the boulder, and now we finally get to meet her. We got a letter saying the Stardew Aquarium is also open for business. We can visit it through the railroad near the spa. I've got a lot of things at the moment demanding wood, so I spend half the day cutting trees, and I take the opportunity to expand the pathing of the farm. Now that I've had time to smelt a gold bar, I can now complete every boiler room bundle, making it our first complete room. That will of course unlock the mine carts, which is even more important now that the mines are much farther away up on the Adventurers Guild map. I'm gonna go ahead and buy myself another chicken for more passive income. In town, we catch Morris and Lewis arguing about the blast last night, but also all of the pollution JojaMart is causing, mentioning that the locals are fishing up CDs and Joja Cola cans. It's a nice little explanation for the trash in the river. Speaking of the blast, let's check out the new mountains area. The spa is here as usual, but this is also where we can find Emerald Farm, where Susan lives. We also have a mod that allows us to travel with the train, and while there's bunches of mods that can take you to other places, I have the Stardew Aquarium mod. This takes us to a brand new area filled with tourists, shops, and of course, the aquarium. Here we can donate all of the fish we catch for various rewards at a nearby shop, as well as the joy of just seeing them swim around. Impressively, this mod is actually compatible with tons of other mods that add new fish into the game, so no matter what expansion you're rocking, you can probably donate the new fish here. Looking for more fish to fill the aquarium with, I head to the mines to snag the ghost fish and stonefish. And yes, I forgot Jass's birthday. My goal for the next day was to get resources for a stable. The world is big, and a horse would really help with that. Simple as. I head to the secret woods for the hardwood and discover some new summer exclusive berries. We can also grab fiddlehead ferns while we're here. We will need it for a bundle. I check what else I'm missing for the stable, and it's 5,000 gold. That'll come to us naturally, so to kill some time, I head to the icy mines for a couple of reasons. First, I always underestimate how good the burglar's ring is, so I'm slaying sprites for that. And now that we have a quest asking us for 50 iron bars, it's best to work towards that early. Today is Martin's birthday, one of the Joja clerks. Luckily, we grabbed ice cream the other day at the aquarium. I'm at the point where I'm going to need a lot of money. I both want a stable and other upgrades like a barn or an iridium rod, and we no longer have strawberries to rely on. For now, I cook more sashimi and upgrade the frying pan to make sashimi more efficiently. I also do a little bit of fishing and reach level 7. I notice I'm really close to forging level 7 as well, so I also reached that. We got 3 level ups that day, 2 in cooking, 7 in fishing, and with 7 in foraging, we unlock amber items. So with the resin crafting bench, we can now create resin from any leftover sap we have. Then we can combine that resin with extra artifacts we find to turn them into more expensive artisan goods. It is a great way to recycle items that really don't have much of use otherwise. I managed to sell just enough items at Pierre's so that I can afford that stable from Robin. As for my next money-making scheme, I need to grind a lot in the early floors of the mines. This is for fiber to make tea saplings, and for copper so that I can expand my crab pot empire. So with this next week, I actually didn't add any new mods. We'll be unlocking a lot of mods that I already had installed, and our week will be busy enough as it is. To start, I have a new grand plan, an automated tree tapper farm. I start by clearing out an area on the west side of the farm to make room for it. It's also Gus's birthday. Diamonds are an easy loved item for him. Our copper frying pan is ready, allowing us to cook recipes with 2 ingredients. And while I'm back at the farm for routine inventory management, I noticed something big. Our first ancient fruit has sprouted. I'll be donating this first one to the rare crops bundle. Future ones will be saved for a seed maker. I noticed I'm very close to reaching floor 100 of the mines, which would net us a much needed star drop, so I attempt to reach it. Unfortunately, with only a steel pickaxe, I barely make it down 5 floors the entire day. I do get a bone sword from the randomized chest, which with its extra speed is a much needed change from the claymore. The next day our horse is ready, and they'll also be named after a phone, of course. This introduces us to the mod Horse Upgrades. Now our horse has a friendship level that can be increased with petting, feeding, and watering. And if you feed the horse, that day you will get a speed boost that's dependent on that friendship level. At this point, I'd like to start getting friendship with the wizard, as I'm told that there's some good unlocks from it. He has a quest to slay ghosts, so I do it, and it takes pretty much all day. I did at least make progress with other things like Slayer quests and ore while I did it. Also, the wizard is red now. I made a lot of money that day from tea saplings and sashimi. That'll give us some freedom in the future. For today though, we're reminded that the luau is tomorrow, so I really need to find something to put in. There's like 10 characters added with Expanded that I'll get that friendship boost with, so it's more important than usual. This is also the day that I found out that hot peppers have a 3% chance for a double harvest. I've never seen that before. It's been a while, so I take a trip to the community center to donate some of what we've gathered over the last week, including a red pepper, 2 winter forageables, cloth for the artisan bundle, and completing the rare crops bundle, which only required one of either an ancient fruit or a sweet gemberry. Since Robin isn't working on anything today, I use the tree transplant service to align all of my trees in the area we cleared out. This will be the basis for the tapper farm. For those tappers, I'm going to need a lot of copper, so I grind the day away in the mines. By the end, I'm able to set 6 of the tappers up. The wizard is still open until 11, so I take the opportunity to turn in the quest and give him a gift, after which he says he'd be willing to teach us some magic. That's saved for future cutscenes though. So I did completely forget to get something for the luau, so we'll have to scrounge something up. How about a gold quality strawberry? That'll get us the second best result. Not fantastic, but that'll still get us some friendship with everyone. Big day for crops. Our blueberries, tomatoes, hops, and red peppers are all ready. That gives us a bunch to donate to the community center, so while I'm at it, I cook a fried egg and head to town. We donate a blueberry to the dye bundle, a fried egg to the chef's bundle, and a melon, blueberry, and tomato to complete the summer crops bundle. As we head on down to finally buy the iridium rod, we get swept up in a gossip sesh with the gals. I really like some of the character dynamics that Stardew Valley Expanded adds. There's cutscenes that characters interact that you wouldn't normally see interact in the main game. I buy the rod, and I buy a second fish pond, which I plan to put the butterfish in. And with my new rod, I fish in the ocean hoping to catch our first legendary fish, the crimson fish. I do hook it, but it gets away pretty easily. I'll have to come back when I'm better prepared. This is our first thunderstorm in summer since I've put down lightning rods, so we'll finally be able to collect some batteries. 2 simple goals for the day. Give out a bunch of gifts before the week resets, including Alex's birthday present, egg. The other goal, I want that star drop in the mines, and I do get it. That's our very first star drop. I was also able to complete the wild medicine bundle with all of our hops. We got level 6 farming and combat, unlocking quality sprinklers and slime egg presses. Both of these will be important for the future. Sunday was a farm expansion day. Now that I have quality sprinklers, I can set up a proper crop area. I also set up a few more tappers. I donated a few artifacts we got over the last week or so and unlocked the treasure trove achievement, putting our donation count at 40. I just remembered that I was supposed to buy crops today, and while heading into the general store, I caught all of the farmers talking about farm things. Again, characters you wouldn't normally see interacting. I unfortunately just missed Pierre though. Our new farming area will have to wait. Or I catch Pam having a customer moment as I walk into Joja, and buy the seeds I need. I finished the day expanding the path over to the tap farm. We're now in the second half of summer, which means more mods. I added PFM Automate, which makes modded machines like the Amber Table work with Automate. I also added the Convenient Inventory mod, which allows me to distribute all of my items to all of my chests with just one button. I saw a lot of people saying that this is just like the inventory in Terraria. I spent out most of the day giving out gifts, but since I like to rock a different hat for each of my playthroughs, and we've gotten a couple of achievements, I pay a visit to the Hat Mouse. Up until now, we've just been running with the hat that we got from the Egg Festival, and I'd like to change to something a bit more unique, so I grabbed the Daisy. Subtle, but nice. I'm going all out on the mines the next day. I'm bringing bombs, food, and weapons to sell to the Adventurers Guild. I ended up having a pretty lucky day. On floor 109, I reached level 8 mining. On 110, we have another randomized chest. I got the space boots from it. Not very randomized of you. Even though it doesn't have as much immunity as the genie shoes, the extra 3 defense is a pretty big deal, so I equip it. Now that the guild is open, I take a quick break to sell some of those weapons and head back in to knock out the rest of the floors. We get the skeleton key, allowing us to access the Skull Cavern and Junimo Cart, baby, woo! On the way home, we get to see one of the most underappreciated scenes in the game, Maru showing us her telescope, which I also recreated in thumbnail form. I also unlocked wild bait. Yep. I'd like to build a barn, so the start of my next day sees me gathering resources. My greatest fear is realized when I'm forced to do math in a recorded video. I get my barn built right next to the coop. For Sam's birthday, I'll grab a pizza from the saloon, a loved gift. I do a little fishing for the culture and call it a day. I hit level 8 foraging, earning us another berry from bushes once blackberry season comes. The next day, while heading to Marnie's to buy some hay, we found Jazz lost in the woods, and we take her back to Marnie's. Just a fun little character moment. I also go to the secret woods to grab a fiddlehead fern. I got a good harvest today, so I sell it and use the money to start upgrading my axe to gold. Once again, we need a lot of wood for a lot of things. With the hay and fiddlehead fern, I go and donate yet more items to the bundles. Eggs for the home cook bundle, hay for the fodder bundle, fiddlehead and poppies for the chef bundle, bream for night fishing, and corn for fall crops. We're knocking them out. Sophia tends to be a character that I ignore a lot since she's so out of the way. So with my higher fishing level, I'm finally able to catch a dogfish and give it to her, as it's a loved gift. I'll be focusing on her a little more from now on. As I go to the mountains to give Susan a gift, I'm interrupted by Clint checking out the boulder blocking the peak. He tells me to meet him at his house to discuss destroying it. You see, Stardew Valley Expanded was originally created before 1.5 released, and it was still an unused area by then, so they decided to utilize it. I'm interested to see how that affects the final cutscene of the game. I check up with him, and he will need coal and iridium to make a bomb to destroy the boulder, so that won't be for a little while. I meet Willie in the woods, where he notifies me of a river deep in the woods that has some elusive king salmon. I'll have to check it out. The reason I'm really here is I finally want to check out that Deep Woods dungeon though. As I said before, this is an endless dungeon where all you need to do to go to the next floor is X out of one of the sides of the screen. There's a bunch of rare forageables here like purple mushrooms, and you can even find crop flowers here like blue jazz. And if you pluck them, you do get farming experience. There's also as much wood and hardwood as you'd ever need. Problem is, you can get lost here. At a certain point, if you try to head back, you'll just proceed to the next floor instead. This is why I held off so long, and it's why I brought a warp totem. While in general there's a lot of easy enemies here like bugs or green slimes, there's also a couple from the Skull Cavern like iridium rock crabs. It is a little nice though, as they can drop iridium for us. I did have one problem while exploring. There's thorny bushes that can only be destroyed with bombs. These pretty consistently blocked my progress. Eventually on floor 14, all exits were blocked by them, so I had to leave. But not after getting a bunch of loot, including some iridium from the Skull Cavern crabs. I have another blueberry harvest ready the next day, giving me level 7 farming. The gold axe is also finished being upgraded, and I have an opportunity to bust open all of the geodes I've gotten from reaching the bottom of the mines. This gives me 5 more items to donate, including the final dwarf scroll. Now I can go and talk to the dwarf, which will be important for stocking up on bombs when it's finally time to go to the Skull Cavern. I don't have much money, but the trash can doesn't take too much to upgrade. I'll do it just to keep Clint busy. I'll use the rest of our money to buy our first cow. Seafold 4, of course, and a second cow for good measure. In the forest, we catch the wizard putting up a protective barrier to prevent monsters from entering town. He tells us tales of some wizard vanguard defending from hordes of monsters near Castle Village. I wonder if that'll ever come up again. I'll be doing quite a bit of fiber farming in the mines from now on. Since I have the skeleton key, the only thing preventing us from going to the Skull Caverns is money, and T-saplings are our best method. I made a little money that night. I have a puppy fish pond now, and they want wild bait, which I just happen to have. With all that money I earned, I'll buy the 25,000 gold bundle, mostly for the free crystallarium, and I'll also go ahead and get the 5,000 and 2,500 gold bundles, just to make the rest of the vault a little less intimidating. During the daily gift giving, Sophia seems to be contemplating with her friend. We learn a lot about her here. She's sad about something. Talking to Gus afterwards, he lets us know that her parents actually died not too long ago, and she took up the vineyard after them. More crab pots, more pathing. Halfway there, Jody invited us to dinner requesting that we bring a largemouth bass. You do that? Invite people and tell them to provide the food? New mod Monday, I've replaced L's seasonal paths mod with a different one because the corner pieces were a little messed up. Instead, we're now using Shardust's flooring mod. Just like the building mod, this one's super customizable, so I may play around with the colors of flooring every now and again. For now, I have it set to a dark brown and white for our main pathing. I also turned the crab pots into ducks, because why not? So I've seen a couple of these spiky bushes around. Turns out you can chop them down for nettles. I don't have any use for them yet. I'll grab the copper trash can and give the dwarf a topaz for their birthday. And it's fiber time. I get 20 T-saplings out of it. I continue to work towards level 10 fishing as well. Now I'm starting yet another automation project, this time with honey. I'll plant the sunflower in the middle of a square with the intention to eventually fill all the surrounding area with bee houses. Today's Victor's birthday. I don't know much about him, so I get him corn. Always like corn, right? This leads to us catching him reading. The miscreant. I don't want to leave Jody hanging for too long, so I catch the largemouth bass and visit them for dinner. I've gained quite a few levels in fishing, and I finally feel like I can catch the crimson fish. And I did. Pretty easily. Wednesday was all for giving gifts, including the sturgeon for Willie's birthday. I then grinded some stone in the mines for the big barn upgrade. I have a second sturgeon to donate to the lakefish bundle, and an apple for the artisan bundle, a sunflower for the dye bundle, and finally 10,000 gold to finish up the last of the vault bundles. Tomorrow we unlock the desert. I also have extra money left over to upgrade to the big barn. After all the fishing I've done, I take another trip to the aquarium to donate another batch of fish. I reached level 9 foraging and went to bed. I've let the crab pot simmer for a while, so I'll go ahead and cook up all of the fish I've caught into sashimi all at once. Since we now have access to the desert, might as well start the casino quest by first putting a battery into the box in the bus stop tunnel. To my surprise, the desert was heavily changed by Stardew Valley Expanded. The desert trader is still to the right of the bus, but the oasis is now to the north, and Skull Cavern is to the south, along with a much larger area of sand, eventually leading to the 3 pillars. I buy some beet seeds from the oasis for the casino quest. And of course, I'm going to take a sneak peek into the Skull Cavern. This isn't a serious run or anything, just a visit. I'm also going to attempt to catch a scorpion carp while I'm here. Unfortunately, I didn't find it, and I spent a lot more time than I should have because I didn't know that they stopped spawning at 8 p.m. That night, I hit level 4 cooking, unlocking a bunch of more recipes I'll have to make eventually. I also made quite a bit of money from the sashimi. I've got a huge harvest of melons today, as well as our first starfruit. I crafted a couple more bee houses, and before we take on the Skull Cavern, we'll need an upgraded pickaxe. Heading to the bridge east of town, we catch Victor again. He likes bridges, apparently. That's it. I'm going to buy another fish pond, mostly because I want to see what resources all the new fish will give us. From that morning harvest, we reached level 8 farming, unlocking kegs. A pretty big deal, especially with our automate mod. I also hit level 9 fishing, which is nice for the fishing bar size, if anything. Today is the last day of summer, so we're going to spend some time getting ready for fall. Our sunflower is grown for all of our bee houses, and it'll last into the next season. Before the Moonlight Jelly Festival starts, I ground out the ice floors, once again working towards the burglar's ring. By the end, we're sitting at 131 out of 500 dust sprites, which is a bit less than I was hoping for. We do a bit of fishing to kill the time as well. Now for the Moonlight Festival. Yeah, you really don't get anything out of it, but it's still one of my favorites. The Dynamic Reflections mod does wonders here. First day of fall, immediately we see Lewis introducing the Market Day mod. This is a pretty major one I've added. This will add a weekly market in the middle of Pelican Town, where I can sell items and catch everyone in the same place at the same time. This is the only mod I added this week since it's pretty large. First, I'm going to plant the 3 rare seeds I've bought up to this point, alongside the 9 pumpkin seeds I got from the museum as rewards. The first task of the season is buying seeds. I buy a mix of cranberries and pumpkins, as well as any crops I'll need for bundles, and a fairy rose for the bee houses. Setting up the farm pretty much takes the entire day. The second pond is finished, and I fill it with a butterfish. Today's the first gift-giving day of fall, giving us a chance to check out all of the new fits from the Seasonal Outfits mod. Finally, we have access to this special orders board. It's unlocked automatically in fall, giving us access to all sorts of new recipes. I believe there's a few new ones added by Expanded as well. The very first mission I take is a curious substance, which gives us one of the best recipes, the mini obelisk. We'll need to hunt ghosts for it. Our gold pickaxe is ready today. When we exit, we catch Sophia leaving the hospital. She seems sad, but we just sidestep the issue by going to pet Dusty. I'm trying to not be nosy at all. I then spend a little time fishing and find a few of the fall exclusive fish. I do have to get all the items for the fall foraging bundles, so I head into the forest. I also want to see if there's anything new in the secret woods. I did find a couple of mushrooms, and I also grabbed the wood skip while I'm here. I also dug and found an ancient fern seed. It grows in summer, so I'll have to wait to plant it. I'm going to use our tree transplant mod to move the fruit tree out of the way of our crops so that we can now fully utilize the field. With the forageables, we complete the fall foraging bundle and knock out a couple of other items as well. Now I'm going to spend some time fishing in both the river and ocean to once again catch fall fish. I set Thursdays to be our market day. I gather some of the more expensive items I have and head on out. This was a bit of a learning experience because I didn't exactly know how this mod works. I can only place 3 items to be sold at a time, and I thought that they'd get replaced automatically if I put items into the chest, but they don't. And unfortunately, I didn't plan to spend all day here. I leave in the middle to do some ghost hunting. Luckily, I do end up finding the ectoplasm just 3 days before the deadline. We get a summary of the market day the next morning. I made about 4,000 gold, and on average, the items sold for an extra 40% of their price. Not too shabby. I plant the beets we bought a few days ago and go to the wizard to turn in the ectoplasm, and we'll get the mini obelisk recipe tomorrow in the mail. We also got the homesteader achievement from the money we earned from the mission, so we've now earned 250,000 gold. For now, I'm just gonna set up a small group of kegs and set it up to automate the pale ales from all the hops we got in summer. Giving out gifts, we find Olivia in her wine cellar. She tells us everything about how she ended up in Pelican Town. Her family's from the Gatoro Empire, and they left family and friends when coming here. The scene ends with her mentioning an Edward. After I caught everyone at the saloon for gifts. While doing the daily chores, I realized that butterfish turned the fish pond yellow. I didn't know that any of the new fish would do that. We take a quick trip to the community center and complete the fodder bundle, the river fish bundle, and contribute an eggplant to the fall crops bundle. Now I'm headed to the mines for squid ink. One of the big remixed stinkers is the fish farmer bundle, and donating squid ink will have the amount of roe I'm going to need to get. Luckily, it didn't take long. I also worked towards some stone for the deluxe barn. Yes, I know we just got the big barn, but we're gonna need to upgrade it again soon if we want to get the truffle before winter hits. I also need wood. In the mail, the wizard has finally offered to teach us some magic. I did get all the materials I need for the deluxe barn, so I get Robin working on that. In the wizard's tower, he makes a potion for us to drink that will allow us to use our natural mana. And with that, we can now use the Shrine of Illusions. That's all for now, but I'm told that it gets better later. I also get to see Abigail's Prairie King cutscene, which is always cool because of the multiplayer mode that was just made for this one hard event. Now with level 9 fishing, the angler really shouldn't be too much of a problem, and although it puts up a fight, I still grab it. Week 2 of fall, we now have a few new mods. First, we have animated fish for Stardew Valley Expanded, which animates their icons on the inventory. We've had the default animated fish since the start of the run. This just lines everything up. And in a big step, I've added the Look Up Anything mod. I've been pretty staunch about not having any super overpowered mods, but finding bunches of new items and having absolutely no idea what to do with any of them can be frustrating. Today is our first cranberry harvest. We're going to be seeing quite the profit from those. The butterfish pond produced a baked fish, which I suppose makes sense in a way. It's blackberry season. I used up all my salmon berries a while back, so this will be a nice opportunity to get more dedicated energy items, especially now that I get 3 berries in a bunch. It's Claire's birthday today. We bring her a loved sunflower. Then we catch her outside Joja Mart reading a screenplay. Up until now, she's kinda just felt like another Joja drone in addition to Morris, so seeing a bit of her personality was nice. With the new week, we also have to choose a new special order. I choose the Hardwood Gathering mission. It doesn't unlock a recipe, but it does unlock the deluxe red double bed. I get to work gathering that hardwood. While in the secret woods, I find yet another new seed, the shrub seed. This one grows in spring, so once again, I'll have to wait to plant it. Today is my warning that the Stardew Valley Fair is a week away. As usual, it's one of the most important festivals due to having the star drop. I'll need to prepare some good items for the Grange display. I'm going to spend today gathering berries and hardwood. I also wanted to buy my pig, but Marnie isn't open. Clint is though. I'm going to start upgrading the watering can. Not for farming, but for the volcano dungeon once we eventually unlock it. The rest of my day was dedicated to giving gifts. At this point, I'm starting to get quite a few characters close to max. By the way, I've decided that I'm not going to date any characters other than Olivia. I've done a dating everyone run before, and I can still get perfection without doing that. I've decided that today's going to be absolutely honed in on working towards community center bundles. There's not a lot left, and I should be able to knock out a lot if I focus. I catch a tilapia, I buy a pig for the truffle we'll need, then I go for the lava eel, which is an option on one of the remixed fish tank bundles. Unfortunately, I only hook one and I don't catch it. The next day, since it's raining, I can also catch the red snapper. I grab our copper watering can. Unfortunately, I'm too poor from buying the pig to upgrade anything else right now. I did forget that today was market day, and although I don't sell anything, I do take the opportunity to give Jody her birthday diamond here. Then I head back to the mines to catch the lava eel, and this time I'm successful. And now by donating the lava eel, red snapper, tilapia, and walleye, we've completed all of the fish tank bundles. I can also donate a pumpkin, completing the fall crops bundle, and squid ink for the fish farmers bundle. I'm still waiting for roe though. This day I catch my first strain, and there's nothing. I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like 9 times out of 10, it doesn't drop anything. I spend the rest of the day berry hunting. That night, we get to see the glittering boulder removed. Today our beets are ready, which we also needed for the community center. We go out and get our pan, which introduces us to yet another mod. You may notice that the pan we get isn't copper. This is because of the pan upgrades mod, which allows the pan to get the same upgrades that all the other tools get. These upgrades will multiply the amount of items we get from glittering spots. And immediately, I get it upgrading to copper. Finally, I have the resources to fully manifest our destiny across the entire crop field, and I fill it with pumpkins. I'm then buying bombs from the dwarf because tomorrow is going to be our first genuine attempt at a deep dive in the Skull Cavern. We're not super overly prepared, but we should do well enough to get some iridium ore. We still have to wait until about 9:30 to go to the desert, so while we're waiting, I pick our second harvest of cranberries, this time using a farming buff from Pepper Poppers for better quality, and I donate the hardwood to Robin for that special order. We head out at about 11:10 a.m. Upon entering the cave, I realize exactly how much of a disadvantage I'm at. My best weapon is still the bone sword, which isn't even as good as the obsidian edge that you'd normally get in a non-remixed file. So another one of my goals in here is to finally find our first prismatic shard. The disadvantage was even more obvious when I encountered an infested floor on floor 16. It took me 2 in-game hours just to clear this one room. We found a dinosaur on floor 25. It would have been really nice to get a dinosaur egg, but no such luck. On floor 26, we get a combat level up, so at least we're getting something out of the trip. I'm in trouble. According to damage calculations, there's about a 50% chance the hit from this serpent will knock me out after I heal. I'm so dead. Yep, 3 more damage. So we're gonna have to do something to improve our chances next time we enter. Also, I have to pay 6,000 gold to recover all the blackberries. It hurts, but it's necessary. At least I did get level 9 farming, earning us the recipes for seed makers and iridium sprinklers. Not that we have the iridium for it. To make us feel better though, we earned a lot of money from that crop harvest. And for reaching floor 25 of the Skull Cavern, which I forgot was even a quest, we earned an additional 10,000 gold. On top of that, today we have a huge harvest of pumpkins. Now that our deluxe barn is done, it's time to work towards the deluxe coop. So we grind for yet more stone. We see Robin finish her inefficient bed and get that big coop. We grab our finished copper pan and upgrade it immediately to steel. I replaced all the pumpkins I harvested and it's back to grinding for the burglar's ring. I hit level 9 mining in the process. Checking the Slayer board, we're now over halfway there. At the start of the new week, it's Sandy's birthday, so we bring her a gold sweet pea. To use our new mod, we actually need to go to Pierre's and buy the hand mirror, an item that's added with the Fashion Sense mod. This allows us to change our appearance whenever we want. But the most important part is we can give ourselves a proper flowing scarf from the Cozy Scarves mod. I always wear the default blue scarf anyway, so I thought it'd be nice to enhance it a little bit. Once again, we spend our day grinding in the ice mines. We now have an additional goal here as well. Now that we've completed the mines, all enemies have a small chance to drop a prismatic shard, and that'd be really helpful for the Skull Cavern. Tuesday is the day of the Stardew Fair. I have a pretty decent set of items ready to go, including the angler that I still have. The Grange display is looking pretty stacked. I also noticed all of the expanded farmers have displays as well. I do end up winning the Grange display, and then it's down to exploiting the spinner until we win enough points for both the Star Drop and the Rare Crow. And while it took a while, we got him. That's our second Star Drop. I forgot to take the special order the last 2 days, so we start today. This is when I find out that Expanded actually added a few, since we have a quest to bring quality fertilizer to Susan. Giving our gift to Olivia, we finally hit 8 hearts, allowing us to buy a bouquet and date her. I try to activate her 8 heart cutscene, but I can't seem to find it. The steel pan is ready, and while bringing Clit a gift, I grab it. I still need a duck feather, so I'm going to buy a duck now that our big barn is built. I'm gonna need sap to make all of that fertilizer for Susan, and while I'm cutting trees, I reach our first level 10 in foraging. Already I've managed to make the 50 fertilizer, so we'll turn that in soon. For the level 10 foraging profession, I'm going to choose Tracker. I think it'll be very useful when we start exploring new areas added through mods. Thursday means it's market day, and I'm gonna put my all into it this time. For the items I'm going to try to sell, I've grabbed some high quality pumpkins, cranberries, wine, and various gems. I don't know if it's just my imagination, but when someone buys something from you, it seems like they tell other people, and then you get more visitors to your stall. I did briefly leave to buy the deluxe barn now that we have the money for it. I wanted to test to see if people would buy things while I was on a different map. It didn't seem like they did, since Mappy returned a few errors. It's Marnie's birthday, and once again I can take advantage of the fact that literally everyone shows up to market day, so she's easy to find. People cleared out about 1 p.m, despite the market being open until 4. I turned the fertilizer into Susan, and I'm assuming I'll get the reward for it tomorrow. I then grind in the ice mines as usual. In the market day summary, it shows we made 11,000 gold yesterday. Not too bad. Big news, thanks to Speed Grow, the 3 sweet gem berries are finally ready. On the way down to turn it in, I see that the traveling cart has the Snowman Rare Crow for sale, and I grab it because I'm pretty sure it's cheaper here than it is at the Ice Fishing Festival. After gifting to the wizard, he shows us how he magically protects his crops from bugs, although he doesn't teach us how to do this ourselves. Carolyn mentioned. I find my way through the newly added maze in the secret woods, and I turn in the sweet gemberry for our 3rd star drop. The energy bar is looking kinda nice now. I spend the rest of the day expanding our paths all the way down to the southern exit of our farm, and I made a lot of money again. Waking up the next morning, I'm immediately greeted with a level up in fishing, putting us at level 10. You receive the experience from crab pots right as you started the day, and it seemed like a funny way to get it. Our pomegranate tree has finally grown, allowing us to complete the artisan bundle. I've also now accumulated enough row to finish the fish farmer bundle, which finishes off the pantry room completely. All that's left is the winter forging bundle and a couple of items for the bulletin board. At Pierre's, we can now buy the bouquet, and one of the items I need to donate is 100 wheat flour, so I'm just gonna buy it outright. I don't even have a mill yet. And we're finally dating Olivia. I grabbed my gold pan, that's where we'll leave it for now, and we'll swap to upgrading the frying pan. I went to the deep woods for some forageable hunting, and the tracker goes absolutely crazy in a large area like this. I finished our day with slaying a ghost for a quest for the wizard, dropping off the 100 wheat flour on the way. With the pantry done, we unlock the greenhouse, a huge deal, especially in Expanded. For my level 10 fishing profession, I choose Lure Master. This is because I actually want my crab pots to collect junk since the recycling machines are automated, so this is the default choice. So I do actually have a greenhouse upgrade mod. To start, it's the same as vanilla, but for a very hefty price, we can make it larger. Again, that's something that won't come into play for a while. Before leaving, Victor catches us, giving us his blessing to date his mother. Thanks, son. In town, we catch the ladies going to their aerobics class, which, by the way, Olivia also goes to, and Claire's left outside wondering if she should go. So I believe seeing this cutscene determines if Claire continues to come to Pelican Town after you shut down JojaMart, and she does decide to join them. With our deluxe coop done, it's time to invest in the silo. I'm going to need it for winter. I'd also like to start setting up the greenhouse. To start, I'm going to make some seed makers and set up a chest next to them to automatically convert all of our ancient fruit. I set up the top 3 rows for coffee and fit as many ancient seeds below that as I can. New week, new mods. Following the scarf from last week, I'm now also adding an animated hair, so it'll bounce with our movements. Gotta say, this really reminds me of a cringy TikTok, and if I have to think about that, so do you. I'm also adding a destroyable bushes mod, mostly because there's bushes in the way of my path that I'm building around the farm, and now I can get rid of them. We get a bit of a worrying letter from Olivia. She wants to discuss our newly started relationship. Our steel frying pan is ready, and since the hoe is the only tool left at base level, we'll upgrade that next. We go to check up on Olivia, and this is where she mentions that her husband Edward passed away a while ago, and she hasn't dated since. She's not sure if she can date us, but she's willing to try. She's been so happy, and Edward wouldn't want her to suffer forever. I've come to an important decision myself. I'm going to buy the lava katana. It's a lot of money, but I think it'll be worth it. Also, I haven't noticed it until now, but I think Expanded adjusts some of the stats of the weapons. The lava katana definitely doesn't usually have extra crit chance. Our fun little project for the next day is going to be organizing the tree farm. I'm going to expand it to the left so that we have more room on the right in the animal area. For our special order of the week, we have the option to slay bats or gather bug meat. I choose to slay bats because that's for the geode crusher recipe. I go to grind the ice floors of the mines a bit, this time also hunting for bats. I also sold our next harvest of cranberries, and we got the monoculture achievement from that. That's for selling 300 of the same crop. Our pig is now fully grown, so I'll clear an area out for it to dig, and hopefully in the next few days, we find a truffle. Speaking of, I also buy a rabbit, of course naming it after the Nokia 9210 communicator, for the rabbit foot we'll need. It's George's birthday, and we happen to have a hot pepper ready to go. He doesn't like hot peppers. Our hoe is ready, and I grab it before heading to the mines for more bats. I'm also preparing for a skull cavern dive tomorrow. We should fare a better chance with the lava katana. We did hit level 10 farming today, and I don't think I could argue not taking the artisan profession. Easily the best in the game. I grab food, bombs, and coffee, and we have a problem. Pam's not at the bus. Turns out that since market day overrides people's schedules, I just can't go to the desert. So I turned today into a gift-giving day instead. Now we'll go to the Skull Cavern. Before that though, I go to give Susan a gift. I'm rushing her friendship as I'm told that you get some pretty useful unlocks. To my surprise, she brings me inside and teaches me a fermentation method that increases the sale price of beer, mead, and pale ale. That's a pretty big deal. Heading back to the farm to prepare my inventory for the dive, I hear a truffle get dug up, and sure enough, we barely managed to get a truffle before winter. It's time to go. This time, it's a very serious run. I spent a ton of money on bombs and explosive ammo. And the lava katana is really a game changer. Early on, a slime just drops an entire iridium bar. By floor 19, nothing's really going wrong, we're just progressing kinda slowly. It's not a particularly lucky day, and I've only found one hole, and it dropped me 3 floors, which is the lowest possible amount. Then it starts to pick up a bit. By 620, we're down to floor 40, which is the point we'll start seeing some iridium ore. Then on floor 42, we find our first prismatic shard. That alone makes the trip worth it. We only reached floor 50, but I'm happy with what we accomplished. 17 Omni Geodes, 40 Iridium Ore, and 1 Prismatic Shard. And of course, I'm not leaving the desert before transforming my shard into the Galaxy Sword. It still works the same way as always. Machi loves me. This is the message you get once you reach max friendship with your cat, and despite all of the allegations that I never watered my cat, she still loves me. On the day of the Spirits Eve festival, I'm going to try and get as much done as I can without being able to enter the town. We're very close to finishing the Dust Sprite Slayer goal, so I'm going to knock that out. In the process, we also reached level 10 mining, which leaves combat as the last skill not at 10. Well, minus any modded skills. I did also reach level 9 combat. A few hours later, I did complete the Dust Sprite task, finally earning us the Burglar's Ring. This is a game changer. We still have a little bit of time left, so I'm going to clean up the rest of the Bat Slaying quest. I have just a little bit of time before the festival, and I remembered I actually have a couple of seeds that I can plant in the greenhouse. We'll see what the shrub and ancient fern seeds give us soon. The Spirits Eve festival has actually changed a lot. The maze is completely different and actually difficult to reach the end of. For the level 10 mining profession, I chose blacksmith. Today we're gonna clean up more of the community center. I buy some rice in the store so I can make maki rolls and donate it to the chef's bundle. I also donate an iridium bar to the dye bundle, completing it, a truffle to the chef's bundle, completing it, and a pomegranate to the enchanter's bundle, leaving us with just the rabbit's foot and the winter forageables. And that's it. Now we can relax. I gathered a lot of geodes over the last few weeks and I'm gonna bust them all open now. From them, I get 6 more items to donate to the museum. We're definitely closing in on 60 items now. To finish out fall, I'm going to do even more work with my pathing, connecting our left vertical path with the one below the animal area. It's winter. To my surprise, Gunther meets us at the front door to thank us for donating all the artifacts we have. This is actually the trigger for him to become a giftable NPC. That's right, instead of unlocking the sewers, 60 items unlocks him instead. Now unlocking the sewers is actually tied to Marlon's friendship. The 2 new mods I've added this week are both new skills. First, there's the archaeology skill, where you get experience from digging up artifact spots. And then there's the bidding skill, with experience granted from opening trash cans. While the bidding skill is a bit smaller, only giving small buffs to trash items, the archaeology skill actually has a bunch of crafting recipes to unlock. For the start of winter, it's important that we find as many forageables as possible. This is both because, of course, we need to finish the winter foraging bundle, but also I'd like to fill my crop field with winter seeds. While looking out for forageables, I dig up bear berries in the forest. They're useful for a couple of cooking recipes. I was also thinking it could be time to change our hat, and to match with our big comfy scarf, I'm gonna get some earmuffs. Thanks, Chester Greenwood. Everyone else has been looking as snug as a bug on a rug in their winter outfits, and I wanted to match. Checking the special orders board, we have 2 quests that are pretty much exactly the same and give us the same reward. I'll catch some lake fish. I do a small bit of clay farming on the beach, just enough to get snow yams and winter roots to make winter seeds. Then I go and complete the winter foraging bundle. Now we literally just need the rabbit's foot. And overnight, we see the quarry bridge get built. I have my field about halfway filled with winter seeds, and now it's just a case of waiting for them to grow so I can fill the rest. On our way to town, Pam just spills her guts to us, talking about dreams, how she missed her chance in life, and everything. It's nice to see her reflect about it all. Expanded has some darn good cutscenes, by the way. Olivia's so close to 10 hearts. Unfortunately, unless we can find a rain totem, we won't be able to marry her this season. I catch Susan for her 8 heart cutscene though, and she decides to teach us another trick lowering the amount of wood we need to craft chests. And of course, I'm also going to check out the quarry today. There's not really any good rocks for us to mine outside, but we can go into the cave for our golden scythe. The statue teleports you out, just in case you didn't know. I got a couple of level ups in our modded skills. Level 1 in bidding, which simply gives us a higher chance to find stuff in the trash. Level 1 archaeology unlocks some glass decorations. And with level 5 cooking, I get the choice between professions of cooking oil raising the quality of food, or food restoring 5% more health and energy. I chose the cooking oil, mostly because it's more interesting. I made 45,000 gold, mostly from selling off all the honey we made from fall. Olivia's going to be throwing a party and the governor is going to be there. So we have iridium bars now. I'm going to go ahead and get a slime hutch going. It's not required for anything, but I think it's fun. First, I'm going to grab 2 auto grabbers for the coop and barn. They're unlocked at level 10 farming and I'm just oozing money. I'm going to upgrade our pickaxe to iridium, mostly for when we eventually go for floor 100 in the skull cavern, and I'm gonna get that slime hutch built. It's Linus's birthday, so I get him what every man wants, a mushroom colony. As I'm working on the special order for catching lake fish, I catch a bull trout. I kinda completely forgot that there were just new fish everywhere. I finished the special order with no problems. Completing it made me remember that I have the mini obelisk recipe, so I set them up at my farmhouse to the resource deposit at the southwest part of the farm. Thursday's market day. I'm gonna give it another good try this week. I'm grabbing pale ales, gold melons, bunches of diamonds, gold bars, and gold quality pumpkins. Basically anything worth a good amount of money. And the people are feral for everything. Also, it seems like people are able to buy things while the game is paused, which seems like quite the exploit. The worst selling items here were gold bars. I thought it being loved by a few characters would make it good, but apparently not. I'm checking out Gunther with the Look Up Anything mod, and turns out he loves a bunch of artifacts and minerals. Who would have thunk? He shouldn't be too hard to gift for. I'm setting up our auto grabbers, and if I connect them to a chest, they should be able to automatically make mayonnaise and cheese without any intervention. I head to Olivia's party and literally everyone is there. It's just a bunch of fun scenes, and it uses the title screen music from Junimo Kart. Any chance to use music from that game is appreciated. And we get smoochies. I also gotta say how surreal it is to see Gunther walk around town. Marlon came by the next morning to tell us about his slime breeding hobby. TMI. He gives us a free slime egg to get our hutch started. I made 14,000 gold from market day, beating our previous record. The slime hutch is ready, so I go and set it up. Slimes will spawn in the fence, slime balls will spawn outside of the fence. It's been a while, so we take another trip to the Stardew Aquarium. It's a beach and it's pretty empty in winter. I've got about 15 more fish to donate, including the angler. Our iridium pickaxe is finished. You may notice that it's blue. This is thanks to the Iridium Recolor mod, which is also the cause of the Galaxy Sword and Slime Hutch being blue as well. There's a couple of different options for it, so I might change the color every now and again. Now that it's winter, there's no grass or fiber in the way, so I'm going to take this opportunity to completely clear out the southeast square of my farm. In the future, I'd like to use it as a second crop field and space for a couple of sheds. And I connect the path down and around as well. Only 10 days left. The next morning I'm checking the auto grabbers. And what do I find other than a rabbit's foot? That is the last item I needed for the community center. We are done. So we have had that quest where Clint wants some iridium ore for a while. I'm interested in seeing what's up on the summit, so we're going to do a quick Skull Cavern run to see if we can get that ore. Also, this is our first time in Skull Cavern with the Galaxy Sword, and man, we're so back. Gah! It's always a jump scare when you get the lucky ring. Well, we have that now, no panning required. Floor 16 is a prehistoric floor, and luckily we get 2 dinosaur eggs. On floor 19, I get 2 iridium bars from the same slime. The Pergler's ring really does go crazy. And to top it off, floor 38 gives us another prismatic shard. I'd call this a pretty successful run, even if it wasn't too serious. Gus catches us at the front door to give us the mini jukebox, which is completely useless because I edit my music in manually. We get to see the community center complete cutscene, same as always, although it's nice to see the expanded characters added in. And of course, we choose violence. I pop open all of the geodes from that Skull Cavern run, giving us yet another 6 items to donate, including our spare prismatic shard. Mentionable is the fact that I'm getting a million cutscenes today due to the friendship increase from completing the bulletin board bundles. In this video, generally I'm only going over the modded cutscenes. Our friendship list is pretty stacked now. Almost all of these full hearts are thanks to the bulletin board. Upon entering Cindersap Forest, I see a cutscene. And now I'm here, I guess. I have no clue what that was about. I catch the traveling cart carrying some seafoam pudding, which is funny because I was just thinking about trying to catch the glacier fish soon. I donate iridium and coal to Clint, so we'll see what that boulder removal quest was all about. It's also time to start the Magic Ink quest, which unlocks quite a bit. Unfortunately, I'm going to be unable to complete it until I lock the sewers, and I need rain for that. This week is going to be a busy week. With the community center done, things will be unlocking like every day. We also have our first harvest of winter seeds today, which we're going to use for replanting. For the new mods, I've added the Distant Lands Swamp expansion. Again, this one's in limbo until we get a rainy day. I also now have a mod that shows us if a fish hasn't been donated to the aquarium yet. Today is the Ice Festival. Not really too much to do here. I buy a few decorations and absolutely destroy at the fishing competition, earning us the shiny dew hat, 2 tackles, and 1 magnet. And that night, we hear an explosion. I head up to the mountain and sure enough, the boulder's gone. So slight spoilers for what the summit is like, I suppose. It's very similar to the base game. However, we can find a bunch of unique forageables, the Winter Star Rose and Thistle. Seems like they're both mostly for gifting, although the rose is used for 1 cooking recipe. We see yet another cutscene with Susan showing her our natural crafting skills. And she gives us some pointers, and now we can craft casks and kegs with half the wood. So I did forget that JojaMart was going to close down today, and this does cut off Morris from being friended. And it turns out that nobody even told Claire. Wild. You know, with each and every cutscene, I find myself getting more invested in Claire's character. I check and she is still at their aerobics class today. Love that. While I'm here, I hit 10 hearts with Jody, Marnie, and Carolyn, earning us the beloved farmer achievement. You know what that means. Cat ears. Everyone always asks, oh, what's that mod that adds the cat ears? They're actually vanilla, and although I bought them, I won't be wearing them for this run. For the rest of the day, I'm going to attempt to catch the glacier fish. And I caught it immediately. There was no problem with our seafoam pudding. Since I'm geared up for fishing, I'm going to clean up some of the fish I haven't caught yet, like the squid and the ice pip, although I don't end up finding the latter. I hit level 2 archaeology, unlocking even more craftables, the preservation chamber and the wooden display. It's Sebastian's birthday and sashimi is an easy guaranteed loved item. I'm going to spend today in the mines hunting for the prismatic slime for our special order. And while I do, I get as much fiber and bug meat as I can for wild bait. I did not find the prismatic slime all day. I give the puppyfish their wild bait, and now they'll populate up to 10. Unfortunately, the butterfish want a pineapple, which isn't going to happen until we get to Ginger Island. In our greenhouse, one of the new crops are ready. The ancient fern seed has grown ancient fiber, and it seems very good for money. This might replace any starfruit or ancient fruit farm we plan to do. I've decided that the last large project I want to add to my farm is a slime breeding area. Instead of doing it in the hutch for slime balls, I'm going to try and get a specific color of slime for their drops when slain. I'm not sure what color I'm going to go for yet. All I'm doing now is marking the area. I am going to make an effort at the market day again, this time utilizing some of the amber artifacts we've made. It seems to go pretty well. I set all of the ancient ferns to be turned back into seeds, and now I have a couple dozen of them planted. Once again, I'm buying bombs because I want to make another attempt at the Skull Cavern tomorrow. I didn't know it'd be Gunther's birthday today though. The salal berries grew, and once again they seem to give much more money than any of the vanilla crops. I'll have to consider them as well. I don't really have any loved items for Gunther that I'm willing to give up, so he gets some cheese. While organizing my inventory, I seem to have misplaced my lucky ring. I'm sure it's in a chest somewhere. And with that, it's off to the Skull Cavern. Unlike previous attempts, this run is on a lucky day. And it shows. I got another prismatic shard on floor 2, another on floor 44, another on floor 66, another on floor 68, and another also on floor 68. I don't know how to prove that I'm not using any mods that affect the spawn rates. This is just all skill. Gamer chair diff, I suppose. I end our night off on floor 79. With the Galaxy Sword, I really had absolutely no problems this time around. I just don't want to go too deep since I haven't gotten the secret note for the floor 100 challenge yet. We catch Sandy looking out at the pond and she notices we're covered in slime. Aren't we always? And she talks about her home a bit, Castle Village. She has us accompany her as we watch her warp back home. In the morning, we get a letter from Shane saying Morris left some keys behind. This is an extension of the clearance bid mod. Now Shane will run it instead. After cavern runs comes breaking open geodes. I'm also going to upgrade to the steel watering can while we're here. I can donate 4 more minerals, leaving only 4 left. Since Harvey's here, I give him an espresso, and this is where I learned that I still have 0 hearts with him. How was that even possible? I'm building my 3rd fish pond now. We'll save it for a fish that we can grab on Ginger Island. To finish out the day, I clear out and frame the area that I've decided to use for the slime breeding area. I'm beginning my day getting hardwood because I'm going to need it to build the boat to Ginger Island. I've set up some slime incubators in my breeding area. I'm going to give one a green egg and the other a purple egg. I also finished the outline of the pen. Each small area is going to house a specific color of slime, and then they'll meet in the middle to mix colors. I almost forgot about Harvey's birthday. Luckily, he was at the saloon that night. To finish our day, I'll extend our path out by the slime pen. The full farm layout is almost complete. So I reviewed the footage of the previous week. I threw away my lucky ring thinking it was a rice shoot. Our second to last day just happens to be the start of the week, and yes, we're still going to add mods. A small one I've added is Autogate. Simply put, when we walk into a gate, it'll automatically open and then close behind us. It'll be useful for the slime pen. I also fixed Lumisteria's clumps and nodes. Turns out this entire time I just didn't have the clump part of it turned on. Oops. We did end up failing the prismatic slime quest. In our next set of special orders we have a new one from Marlin. It's kind of vague, so I accept it to see the details. Marlin needs 60 bombs. For what? I grab my steel watering can, and before I forget even longer, I get the magnifying glass. Yes, I didn't have it until now. To kill time before the night market opens, I farm out the rest of the hardwood we'll need for the boat. I don't do much that night market day. I buy a gravestone for use later, buy the lupini painting, and I catch the 3 fish in the submarine. And now it's day 100. I spend the beginning of my last day doubling up the gates in the slime pen. I'm a little worried about them getting out on accident. I grab all of the resources we'll need for the boat and donate it all at once. Tomorrow, we'll be at Ginger Island. To kill some time before the boat's ready, I build a memorial to the Lucky Ring. You will be missed. I also do some minor decorating on the farm and buy some bombs from the dwarf to make our special order a little easier. And that night, we see the boat being fixed. So I promise that it wasn't on purpose that the 100th day ends right before Ginger Island. Things kind of just worked out that way. A lot of people mentioned that they wanted a summary so that they could pick the series up wherever without being completely lost, and I hope this video helps you achieve that goal. From watching to the end, you can now pick up on episode 14, day 3. And once we complete another 100 days, you can expect another 100-day summary. Thank you for watching, see you all in the next one, and good night.